But there's other things that negatively affect our testosterone level, and they're environmental factors, okay? Hey guys, I'm Mark McKillier with Live Anabolic, and today I want to talk about 5 everyday things that are in our life on a regular basis that might be killing your testosterone levels. So you've probably heard me talk in a lot of my other videos about why testosterone is so important to men. I mean, the higher our T levels, the better, basically. I mean, first of all, high T helps us put on muscle. It also helps us burn fat more efficiently. It's amazing. Most people don't realize that it's a fat burning hormone. But also it gives you more energy, makes you feel more mentally alert. There's just, more self-confidence, better libido, a lot better libido. So there's tons of reasons why we want our T levels to be as high as we naturally can get them. All right, but there's a lot of things fighting against us. And one big one is our age. So as we age, we naturally lose testosterone level. We just produce less, our body does. It goes for everybody. And it's roughly 1 to 2% less per year after the age of 30. So that's really easy to do the math there, guys. So there's lots of things we can do, though, to fight that aging process where our T levels go down. But there's other things that negatively affect our testosterone level, and they're environmental factors, okay? They're often referred to as endocrine disruptors. So, your endocrine system is, all your hormones, and there's a gazillion of them. I can't remember half of them. But testosterone is really the most important one that we need to worry about. And so I'm going to talk about 5 different endocrine disruptors today that are just kind of occurring, around you, that you just kind of come in contact with on a daily basis, and you might not even know it. All right, so the first one, guys, that we run into all the time are plastics. Man, everything's made out of plastic, all right? Everything. And there is a potential for things like your water bottles and your plastic food containers to contain a chemical or ingredient called BPA. Now, don't get me to try to pronounce the long chemical name that BPA stands for, but BPA is not a good deal, all right? It can leach into the water, and it can leach into the foods that the container is in. And mainly, guys, the microwave. So, if you're storing food in plastic containers in your refrigerator and you want to heat them up, that's fine. Scoop it out of the plastic container and put it on, a porcelain plate or something, or a glass plate, and then heat it up. But if you heat it up in the plastic container, it makes that plastic kind of soft, and it makes it easier for some of the chemicals in the plastic to slowly leak out and kind of get into your food. You do this once or twice, no big deal. You'll never know the difference. But you do this over a period of months and years, all right, it can add up. So trying to avoid certain plastics, and especially plastic food containers, and avoid the microwave with those things is a real easy way to just kind of make sure that's not negatively affecting your T levels. Another thing that we use every day, we would never think about, shampoo. All right, so you're shampooing, you're lathering it up, and your skin absorbs lots of chemicals. Well, most shampoos have something in them called parabens. Actually, look on the back of your shampoo bottle. You're going to be blown away by all the crazy stuff that's in your shampoo. It blew me away. I actually took a picture of mine, and there's a dozen things in there I can't even pronounce. But parabens is just a big term for ingredients that protect against mold and bacteria building up, okay? And so it's very common for those to be in there. And guess what else? Those can hurt your T levels. Parabens can disrupt your T levels, and they can also hurt your sperm count and make your sperm actually like tired little wigglers. They're not as strong. They don't swim very good. So, you're using shampoo every day. Now, some of you guys that are bald may not be using shampoo so much, but I don't have a lot of hair anymore, but I still use it every day. So try this out, guys. This is a company called Legendary Men's Care. All right, they make several different products, and the whole reason they are in business is to get rid of all potential chemicals that could be endocrine disruptors. All right, so even this plastic bottle doesn't contain PBAs. It doesn't contain parabens and lots of other things, lots of other ingredients that can potentially screw up your testosterone level. And the other thing is, guys, click the link below this video because that'll take you to a site where you can read all about it. You're going to be buying shampoo anyway, one way or another. Just try this out one time. See what you think. It's not like a supplement where it's an additional expense every month. So, soap, shampoos, things like that, you're buying on a regular basis anyway, so it's not an additional expense. And I would highly recommend trying these guys out. And the other thing is, guys, there's tons of things that are working against us when it comes to lowering our T levels. Let's remove any unnecessary thing, especially if it's easy to do. All right, I got bad news with number 3, guys. Beer and alcohol, just in general. Because I got a big old liquor cabinet right over here. Bunch of liquor bottles in the background. I like to drink. I just don't do it too often. Okay, so alcohol in general, couple of drinks, no big deal. Doesn't affect your T levels, okay? But you guys do it too much, too often, that really can affect your T levels. It can really lower them. And then beer is made with hops. And so there's something in hops called phytoestrogens. And anyway, that's basically something, it's an ingredient that can potentially raise our estrogen levels in men. And it can also lower our T levels. And that's not a good combination. So especially guys that have beer bellies, hence beer, or moobs, man boobs, estrogen tends to tell your body to hold on to fat, and not in real flattering places either. So guys, I don't have a problem with drinking a couple of beers, having a couple of mixed drinks, but kind of keep it to the 2. And don't do it every night, because the frequency really can, the cumulative effect of doing it every night really can add up. All right, so the 4th one, guys, is probably not going to be as big a deal for you guys as it is for me, but it's dairy products. A lot of y'all probably don't drink milk or anything like that, but I do. And those cows, they just pump them full of hormones to try to force them to produce as much milk as possible. Same thing goes with beef, that you're eating. So, staying away from drinking too much milk would be beneficiary. I drink probably 2 cups a day, a cup on my cereal and then a cup with a protein powder. I might ought to cut that back. But one thing I need to start doing is buying organic milk. If you do that, then you don't have to worry about all those hormones that they're pumping in the cows, because they don't do that. And so, it's not just the milk, it's cheese, it's yogurt, it's, those kind of things too. And if you're not eating a lot of it, you don't really have to worry. But for guys that are really cranking down milk on a daily basis, eating a lot of yogurt, eating a lot of cheese, there's a potential for some of the hormones that they're giving these cows to get into the milk that they're producing and then into your body. All right, the 5th thing, guys, the 5th and final thing is this. Bummer, right? Your phone. I do too much of this on Instagram, way too much. And the problem is, especially if you're doing it later in the evening before you go to bed, the phone, this thing emits blue light, and studies show that blue light can potentially screw up your sleep. So you don't sleep as well, and why does that matter? How does that affect our T levels? Well, most of your testosterone is produced at night when you're sleeping. So if you're not getting enough sleep, if you're not getting deep sleep, REM sleep, then you're not going to be producing as much testosterone. And it's not just T that you produce at night. Most of our hormones that are so important are produced at night while we're resting and sleeping, not during the day. So if you find yourself, like I do, sitting in bed at midnight, scrolling through your phone, just killing time, you're absorbing a lot of blue light that can potentially screw up your sleep. And then in addition to that, I was diagnosed with sleep apnea a year ago, and I've had it for probably 3 years. So the first 2 years, I didn't even know it. So I've been wearing a CPAP machine for the last year, and that has helped dramatically. So guys, 5 things that just kind of exist in your everyday life that you may not be thinking about. And all these things, add up. They're just a tiny bit. Any one of these things is not going to affect your testosterone significantly, but it's not just these 5. I've shot other videos with other things that are in our life. So we need every little trick, especially as we get older, to reduce the potential negatives that lower our T levels. And at the same time, I've given you a bunch of videos on how to actually raise our T levels by eating certain foods and doing certain exercises. So we have a fair amount of control over our testosterone, both on the negative and positive sides. But guys, the only way to significantly increase your T level in the long run is you have to stick with it and never give up on yourself.